Okay, so I've got several Sony Alpha cameras, and there is an issue that I have had. First off, this is the greatest camera I've ever owned. The Sony A1, really, like legitimately, this is the greatest camera. I've owned a lot of cameras. And I use it a lot, and I pretty much always have my 600 millimeter prime hooked to it. So there is a lot of force put on this lens collar here, and I finally got to the point where the lens collar is super loose, and with the lens attached, it is much more, you can see it much more. Now this is not the play from the lock pin. This is, you can see it pretty clearly, I hope, in the video that's moving. It has finally, it broke, or it got this bad while I was on a trip in Costa Rica. Luckily, I had a backup battery or backup body. But yeah, this can be very frustrating, and then maybe you have to send it off to get fixed, which who knows how long or expensive it'll take. But there is a solution. I'm hoping that it'll work. So I got my little iFixit kit, which is awesome. I love this little thing. And I believe these screws are a 0-0, which is this one. And I'll check it by putting it in the threads. Oh, they're all loose. You want to get a perfect tight fit because you don't get new screws, and you don't want to strip these threads out. So 0-0 appears to be a perfect fit. So now I will unscrew this ring and see what we have here. Yeah, this iFixit kit, it's magnetic. I do have my shutter closed. I'm so glad they have that, because I'd be much more worried about working on this if potential was to drop a screw. The other great thing about these being magnetic is less chance of dropping screws. So I do put a towel down, because if you drop a screw and it bounces, it's gone. There's a little bit of thread locker that comes from them from the factory. I'm also going to put the screws back. I was an automotive technician, and if you reuse screws, you'll typically put them back where you got them from, because threads do get stretched a little bit even if you torque them to the proper amount. So if you put them back exactly where they came from, you'll get less distortion when you put them back together. Yeah, all of these screws are already loose. They're coming right out with no problem. Again, there's no this nice magnetic screwdriver is working well. Okay, the screws are out. I did leave the battery plugged in. I do have it off. I am not a camera repair person, so I'm hoping that's okay. I don't think it's a problem, but anyway, I'm lifting this right out. So my screws are just loose, mentally and physically. So I'll tighten them back up. All right, so what I am gonna do before I tighten these down is these spring-loaded clips. I'm assuming that's what they are. They're not a electrical contact, I don't believe, because that's what these gold ones are. Maybe I can leave it there. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I'm just gonna, looking at these clips, if that's what they're for, you can see this. I believe it's a spring-loaded clip, and again, I'm not a camera repair person, so watch this and do this at your own risk, but I'm gonna just bend that tab up just a teeny bit. I just did it on this one. You can see how high it is, and I'm not sure how long or how good of a repair this will be, but I'm just gonna tweak it up a little bit just to put some stress on the back of the lens collar. Put it back into place. Oops. And then I'll try to do this one. Just bend this middle tab up just a little bit. That might be too much, but we'll see. I should be wearing gloves because oils from my fingers are going to be getting on this spring, so that's something you could learn from me doing it wrong. Okay, so I have all three tabs bent up just a teeny bit. I'm going to place the ring back on. There's the guide pin you can use to know where to stick it back on. Also the E-mount sits at the top. Okay, that's definitely got some springy action to it. So I'm hoping this fixes my issue. And you never tighten all your screws down until you have them all screwed in and put even pressure. So something on this, I'm gonna go in a circle, even though some ways when you torque a wheel on a car down or an intake manifold down, you crisscross. But based on these springs and the way this is, I'm gonna snug them all in, or not snug them yet. I'm starting on them all to make sure that I get all the threads in nicely before I put any pressure on them. Oop, I still almost lost a screw. Again, I should be using gloves, even the screws. I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of moisture and oils from my fingers on the threads. That's not good. That is how you get corrosion. I also did not install any more of the thread locker because one, I don't have any here, and two, I can always take this back off. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe the thread locker didn't lock. So, okay, now I could crisscross them, but I'm just gonna go in a circle and snug them down. I'm not putting much torque on them yet at all. If this was a car, there would be a repair manual with a torque setting. Okay, now I'm gonna put a little torque on them, and I'm basically just gonna go very finger tight. I'm not putting a ton of pressure. I don't want to strip threads. I've stripped threads, and then you have to fix the threads, and it's not fun. So anyway, I really hope this fixes my problem, and we shall see. So it's been a month, and the ring is still nice and tight. I've shot in thousands, tens. In a month, I've probably shot 10,000 photos. And the ring is nice and tight. So just tightening those 3 springs seem to do it. I'll pop it back on my nice favorite lens, my 600, and we can see that. Fire her up. And let's get it on a nice... Oh, there's my wife and I when we were in San Diego on a whale watch trip. And yeah, it just... it works wonderfully. So that was it. So hopefully this helps you and saves you money. The other Alpha bodies, like the A7R4, I believe it was, has a 2-piece ring, a plastic and metal one, and you can get an updated ring that's solid metal. I thought that's what I'd have to do with this one, but this one was just tighten those 3 springs. So I hope this helps you, and thanks for watching.